Hello traders, it's Samurai Trader here. Welcome to the Day Traders Fast Track program. The purpose of this short recording is to give you a quick introduction and to really give you some guidance on where do you start, where do you go from here. By now you would have been swamped with a number of emails and resources, and you're sitting back and thinking, what's first? Well, first of all, once again, I've got to run through the risk disclaimer with you. You've already seen this many times in my recordings. However, please stop and read the risk disclaimer, and I'm going to be talking more about this in a moment, but please, no live trading until you've mastered the strategies, and we'll talk about this in a couple of minutes. And if you're already trading live and not profitable, please stop until you go through the program. Now I'm going to be giving you and actually I've already given you a huge amount of information, so it's very easy to suffer from information overload. And the late great Jim Rohn once said, don't get frustrated, get fascinated. And I absolutely love that. And remember, confusion is the doorway to a new understanding. Now you may hear me repeat things time and time again throughout the large number of videos and recordings and even in writing that you received, but they say that repetition is the mother of learning. So I'm going to repeat things, particularly the most important factors and most important items. Now what is really important, and it really gets back to this information overload, it is once been said by someone that the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure. Pace yourself. There are literally, I think now, over 70 training videos where I cover specific setups, live trading, questions from members, etc. There's probably over 60 hours in the program plus now. Don't try to do it all at once. Pace yourself. Otherwise, what it does, it leads to a concept they call now ego depletion. Not as the ego itself, but you become exhausted and you don't absorb the information that's being related. So maybe set aside 2 hours a day, but it's very important that you pace yourself over a period of time. So a little about the emails that you've received. Now I have a new website being built at the moment where you will receive a member's unique password. Now when you get this password with the new website, it'll be computer sensitive. That is, you'll be only able to access on 2 computers. So once it happens, you'll receive an information email with the passwords, etc. So in the meantime, I upload a lot of the latest videos and recordings to my Google Drive, which I'll cover in a moment. So you should have received 18 numbered emails plus this one, so you would have received 19 emails in total, with links and attachments, links to recordings and a lot of attachments and training resources. So what to focus on first? Of course, please go through the recordings on email 1 where I explain a little more about the course. Then on email 2, I've got the cheat sheets there for my core strategies with links to the training videos in relation to those cheat sheets. So if you do ask me what to focus on the setups on or in email 2. Now email 4 has links to 43 training videos. Nearly all of those are not for public viewing on Google or on YouTube, so you wouldn't have watched most of those before because they're very specific to the program. Now email 17 is a very important one because it's got a link to my Google Drive where I've got all my latest videos, attachments, resources, etc. And typically I upload 1 to 3 new videos and new training resources every week. So when members email me questions, what I'll quite often do is do a recording around it. And what I'd recommend is that you go back and you look at the last 6 weeks of training recordings or videos on my Google link. because I really drill down, and my attempt, and I attempt on an ongoing basis, to simplify things all the time to make it easier for new members to grasp how the strategies work. I was reading something very recently about the new Windows 10 and the amount of people having problems with Windows 10. And one review I read, it was somebody having a go at the people within Microsoft, saying it's all right for you guys. You've been coding all your life. You're talking a language that none of the general public understand. You've got no idea of a real world. Well, what I've tried to do is take note of that, and I try to break everything down as simply as I can. And so particularly the last 6 weeks, we've really looked at simplifying some of the setups, because it's not until you really stand back and try to analyze things that you realize, hang on, I don't really need that indicator. That's not needed. This isn't needed. Hey, we can do it simpler. So that's what I've done. So go onto my Google Drive, and even though there's probably 4 or 5 hours, maybe more, of recordings over the past 4 or 5, 6 weeks, please watch those, because I think it'll just give you a new understanding on some of the resources and information. So this is just a quick snapshot here of what you'll see. On the right hand side, you'll see the date for last modified. So when I upload something new, just simply look, it'll be at the top of a list here, and you can work your way down. And you'll see over here quite often there's documents. The PDFs quite often have links to new videos or new recordings. There'll be screenshots, etc. Up here you'll see an extensive file with a lot of the research on the 34B, which is a hugely successful strategy. The rules, his cheat sheets, there's a ton of materials in there. So spend some time and go through all of this information. Now, in reference to indicators, remember, less is best. Now, I'm converting myself very much to being what I call a price action trader, and I really strip my charts back as much as possible, and there's a couple of extra things I could still take off them. However, I have in the past very actively used indicators, and you'll see on all of my training videos and on my general public YouTube videos, indicators, usually a MACD, maybe a stochastic, and of course my moving averages, sometimes a channel, etc. But just keep in the back of your mind that less is best, and more you'll hear me talk about in the members area about becoming pure price action traders. And that's my goal, because remember, when you've got an indicator, you're always lagging. Indicators are lagging, and you're going to have an entry 1 to 3 candles later than, say, if you're trading, say, the T25, which is a pure price action trade. So I've coded most, if not all, of my displayed indicators for TradeStation. So I've got them all for TradeStation. NinjaTrader, I'm just completing one which will be done this week, which is a super scalper. Thinkorswim and MT4. For NinjaTrader, Thinkorswim and MT4, most of those were put together by some of their members. So if you're a member, please email me with the platform that you use, and I'll email you a set of my indicators. Remember, they're included in your program, so there's no cost, but you must be a member. And of course, I do check the database to make sure you get those, because you'd expect to pay a lot of money publicly for those. So they're included in the program. Now, if you haven't decided on a trading platform as yet, please see my 9-minute video on the Google Drive, which is the right trading platform for me. So just a short 9-minute video, just going through. I've been using TradeStation for 20 odd years, and I love TradeStation, but of course NinjaTrader is extremely popular in the US, Thinkorswim, and of course MT4 is global, particularly with FOREX. So please watch that if you haven't settled on a platform. Now, if you're already using a platform and it's working for you, please don't change. Likewise, if you use a platform that's not listed there, please drop me an email, and I'm putting together indicators or emailing my database looking for traders that have coded specific things. So I might be able to share if someone's got if your platform's not there, I'll email my database and see if anyone's done the indicators for them. Now remember though, the indicator settings are given in the program, so it doesn't matter what trading platform you use. The only custom indicator really is the super scalper, and that's, remember, the super scalper trade is only a pattern. I teach you what that pattern is, so you'll see the white paint bar that only plots after a certain pattern. The pattern is not difficult to learn, so if you've got a trading platform and you don't have the white paint bar, don't worry about it. You've got the setups, the indicators, settings for everything else, and I teach you what that pattern is. Now as you go through the course, this is what I want to say. Over 70% of you that come to me are already experienced traders. Some of you are extremely experienced and profitable. Many of you are not. So many of you may suffer from what I call stinking thinking. That is, you've had a hard time. Of course, half of your mind may already be closed down, and in the course I talk a lot about the psychological damage it has done to us after we've blown one or two accounts. So as you go through the program, I want you to convert from disempowering questions to empowering questions. I want you to go from "this won't work," or "I don't think this will work," or "I don't know how to apply this," to "how can I use this? What's good about this? What can I learn from this?" Traders, it's amazing when you approach things with an open mind what can happen. As they say, like a parachute, unless it opens, you're in trouble. Likewise, in learning to trade successfully, you have to be open-minded. Now, I'm not saying don't verify, because I'm very much about verifying, but traders, what's critical is you approach this with an open mind. Now, if you haven't already done so, what I want you to do is to not use pads. I want you to go and invest in some notepads like on my desk here. I have dozens of these, and you'll just see, it's hard to see, you can't really see dates on the top of them from the screen here, but every trading day I take notes as I trade, ideas, concepts, things I've discovered, mistakes I've made. I treat this as a trading journal as well as research journals, okay, for my R&D, and I go and review them regularly. So as you go through the program, what I want you to do is to date the page, take notes, approach this as the most important scientific study or research that you've ever undertaken. Who do you need to become one of the world's best day or swing traders? You need to be extremely professional. If you sit down with a good attorney or a good accountant or any professional, what do they do normally? Take copious notes. That's what I want you to encourage you to do. It's just so important. Now also, what's really important as you do this, please have a clean and tidy desk. All right, they say that an untidy room is really cobwebs in your mind, or cobwebs of negativity, as one spiritual person once said to me. What's really important, is that you have a tidy desk, and what you can see before you there, I've got spiral plastic binders there where I've got all my trading rules. So print out a lot of the materials that I've given you, highlight them, as you can see I've got there, and on the right there you can see I've got my trading notebook and the rules there in the folders. Consider yourself a pilot where you review, focus, you go through a trader's checklist, and I talk a lot about this in the main course and through it. And yes, you're going to get sick of my voice, and as I said before, yes, I may appear to go on and over things, but traders, it's absolutely critical. Now I talk a lot about risk management in the course, but this is something else I want to talk about because it comes up from new members all the time immediately. First of all, go through the program, write out your questions before you start emailing me every day, please, because you'll discover that virtually everything you could possibly ever cover or ask is in the program, probably 10 times over. But this is a really important one that comes up continually, is risk management. Is how much money do I need? Well, traders, most of you will know I love trading the ES and the NQ. So typically in my videos you'll see me trade with a 6 tick stop, which is fairly typical on the 1000 volume or the 233 volume for trading at Globex hours. If you add in your $5 commission, that's $80 risk. If to be within the 2% risk rule, you've got to have a 4,000 minimum account. Please traders, do not trade any more than 2%. If you've only got 2,500, don't go live until you get the 4. This is perhaps one of the greatest challenges with traders. You go and have 4 or 5 losing trades in a row, you start to hesitate, you're down 10%, panics it. Anyway, look, it's just one of the most important things I want to get across, because with new traders I deal with, a lot of new traders and even experienced ones, they jump straight back in. This is where they fall over on. Now on the NQ, by the way, typically my stop is no more than 14.6 plus commission, which means you need an account size of 3,750. Now, as many of you have probably seen my YouTube videos on trading small accounts, you can only really do that with FX, with Forex currencies. Now if you've got a 20 pip stop, which includes the spread, in that case here you need a minimum of 1,000 and you build from there. Now please no live trading. The amount of traders that I wish I could grab hold of and give them a good shaking it's just countless now. Is that until you reach or achieve what I call the magic 100. So what's the magic 100? You take a trade, one of my strategies, and you use it, or you apply it on a simulator at least 100 times in a row flawlessly. Now I'm not talking about having 100 winning trades in a row. I'm talking about following the rules, because as you'll discover, as you may already know, all of my strategies are very rules based. 90 to 95% rules based. You've got the rules in front of you just like a pilot, so you can follow the rules. But if you start breaking those because of gut feel, because of the weather, or you just feel like breaking rules, you've got to go back. This is really important. Remember, my job as your coach is to get you into the top 5%, because unless you join the 5% club, you're not going to make it. That is a reality, but you can get there. Now for those traders that I speak to on my 20-minute call, though, putting my private clients aside, that I've spoken to before I bought the course, the biggest challenge most traders have, or and thank you for being honest, is discipline. You can develop this, traders. You've got to work on it, but you can develop it. Now in reference to the live room, when we launch the room, not only will we hand you live fish, as we say, calling trades in real time, we'll also be teaching you how to fish. That is, giving you the right education. Now the information on the trading room will be posted on my Google Drive. Now I'm talking to some fantastic US moderators at the moment, and we've got one actually over in London as well, so we're getting closer to that. Now I'll be posting information on the Google Drive, plus I'll probably do an email to my whole database once we're ready to launch. So you'll find out what the fees are on my website, but you'll see I'm not accepting money for the live room yet. So if you press the PayPal button, it won't go through, because we'll let you know 2 weeks before we actually physically launch. So we're getting very close with that. Now how do we gain mastery, or how do you gain mastery? This is just so important. You've got to create a compelling future. There's only one sort of mastery. You've got to become an epic day or swing trader, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And one of the ways we do that, or the most important way, is small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time, which means this is going to be at least a minimum of a 90-day journey, maybe more. But traders, you've got the opportunity to trade the rest of your life. Let's get it right. If you haven't been doing it right in the past, let's start doing it right. Okay, step up to the plate, give yourself a new set of standards. This is so important. The other thing too is, traders, is stand guard to the door to your mind. Don't let anyone steal your dreams. And what I mean by that, If your family and loved ones and friends know you've tried to day trade in the past or swing trade and it hasn't worked out, the ones that love us the most can often be the ones that tear us down the most. Not always deliberately, but our spouses, our partners may not want us to do this. So please be very, very careful, because in many cases my job is to help build your confidence over time. But I want you to be very, very careful on who you share this information with, and your goals. Once again, don't share them with anyone until you've mastered this. So master your tools, master your setups, and master yourself. This takes time, but it can be done, of course. So let's talk about how we're going to do it. Now, trading is really easy. In the course and in YouTube videos, you've probably heard me talk about the 5%, 5%, and 90%. That is, 5% is money management. Most of you you see me trade with only 0.5%, which means I can load up to 4 trades in that one position. I can have up to 4 entries. So money management is 5%, so a maximum of 2%. Once again, repeating myself here, but it's so important. The next thing, the 5%, is the strategies. Now I'm giving you the world's best day trading strategies. If there was a better one, I'd give it to you. I know someone will come to you and say, I've got this bit of software or indicator, whatever. But traders, if it's out there, I've probably already purchased it. Look, nothing's going to beat the best computer in the world, which is the human eye. And you'll learn that as you go through the program. So 5% is a strategy, but a massive 90% of trading is psychology and getting our head right. So getting back to this here, I want you to trend trade only. Where I go back, or when I analyze traders that have lost their accounts in the past or haven't been making it, they are counter trend trading. I know you watch me counter trend trade, but I've been doing it a long time. I do not want you to even learn the counter trend trades like the T89 until you're profitable. Well, that's what I would recommend. Focus on trading with the trend only until you are consistently profitable. Now, all of these are on or in email 2: T1, T2, T18, T20, T25, 34B, and 89B. Now the T20 is more of a change in trend setup, so I've excluded all of the counter trend trades here. Now the T20 I want you to learn, because the first trade after a T20, the first, second, and third, are usually brilliant trades, high probability trades. And so once you understand how T20 works, which is really easy to discover and learn that, well, you're going to not discover it because it's already in the course, but once you learn how to trade the T20, things will really fall into place. But I only want you to focus on 2 strategies until you achieve mastery, because it's very, very easy. You know, once again, a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. It's very, very easy to lose sight of things if you're trying to do too many things. So take your time there. Now this is what I have. You know, I've got this on my desk under my computer screen. I am patient, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm a sniper. One shot, one kill. I'm a rules-based pattern trader. Learning how to trade successfully, traders, is really about learning how to recognize patterns. And patterns appear in the market every day. Geometric patterns every single day. It's like and it's said that the market has a memory, and I really believe it has, because you see these patterns appear. So what that means is it's easier for you to learn, because once you learn these patterns, you'll be able to become a sniper. And that's what I want you to really take on the persona. What works for you? Sitting back and watching the screen, I'm a sniper, and I know the qualities of a sniper. If it works really well, is this something that's going to work for you in keeping you focused? Now getting back to this slide here, which you've will hear me talk a lot about this: wax on, wax off. Why only 1 or 2 setups? Why 100? Because that is how mastery is earned. It is very, very important that you know it backwards. It's just so important. So I want you to just continually go over the trades time and time again. one or two, maybe three setups until you're an absolute master at it. And once again, stay on the simulator. Now, this is something I want to quickly, before we go on to the next slide, is to mention this, is that developing confidence is rather easy in anything, but what you need is competence, knowing the rules, and competence knowing you're following the rules. So very important, traders, that you work on that. Now, this is something that comes up, and we're nearly at the end of this intro video, but how do you gain 1 year's experience in 1 or 2 weeks, 30 trades a day? One of the greatest challenges for traders is they become paralyzed. They stall. They start thinking too much. And when I say thinking too much, we're not actually thinking quite often when we're trading. We're remembering past trades and how they worked out. We're not thinking about that trade. Please think very carefully about what I just said. If you're an experienced trader, quite often you'll see a setup and you're remembering past experiences. What I want you to do is to think about how do the rules apply to that trade and not be remembering past experiences, because our probabilities and statistics are on our side. Now, pulling the trigger is one of the greatest challenges that I have with experienced traders, where they're really hesitant because of bad experiences. So this is a strategy that works really well in overcoming that. Now, discipline is like a muscle, like pulling the trigger. The more often you practice it, the stronger you get. Now, on the Google Drive, and it may even be on one attachment on one of the videos, but I think it's actually on the Google Drive, is this sheet. Won't have all the colors in the background though. What I recommend is on the simulator, of course. So this is on the simulator. You execute trades according to 1 to 3 of these setups. So for an example, during the London session, if you trade the ES233, which I love the ES233 if you're a futures trader, that is, you'll get one trade every 10 minutes, 15 minutes on a normal day. You can really execute at least 10 to 30 trades in 3 or 4 hours, even less than that. And by executing those trades according to our trading rules, you're building confidence, competence. But what's important is you follow the rules 100%. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a loss if you followed the rules. So use that sheet, and by marking each one off, one of the ways of overcoming this reluctance is to mark it off. And you may have a goal of, say, 15 live trades a day on a lower time frame. Now, you may choose not to be trading that lower time frame in real trading, but in developing the confidence in pulling the trigger and following the rules and developing your muscle, your discipline muscle, you want to do at least 15 to 20 trades. This is what I recommend, at least anyway. Now, for my Forex traders, as many of you know, I love the 5 range on the euro dollar, euro USD, and the Australian USD, etc. And you might only have though one trade every few hours at times. Other times you'll have one every 15 minutes. So just drop it down to a 2 range or whatever, so you're executing trades more often. If you're a time-based trader, maybe you've got to drop down to a 1 minute chart. The purpose here is to be thinking your rules through quickly, and you develop the skill of being able to analyze the trade quickly and pulling the trigger. So remember though, you've got to follow the rules 100% so you can develop the confidence. Now, last of all, I can give you and teach you battle tested proven trading strategies, and you've got them here. I want you to stop looking. If you go on YouTube and always looking for systems and strategies, stop it right now. It's time to buckle down and focus on what you've got before you. With the T25, for an example, I'm giving you the battle proven floor trader strategy, With the T2 you've got the slingshot, which has been around for 50 years and it works brilliantly. It's a killer when traded correctly according to my rules. Same with the T20 on the 34B. On my Google Drive you'll see a research file on all the work that's been done on the 34B, and of course email 2 is the cheat sheet on it. It kicks butt virtually every single day on the CL, on NQ, on Forex, on the ES, and trade it correctly. You could just trade that one strategy alone, all time frames and all markets, by the way. So but what I can't give you here is screen time, focus, discipline, and patience. So they're the 4 things that you're going to have to really focus on. Screen time, sitting down, executing the trades, looking for the patterns, focusing, remove all distractions while you're doing that. Now I was explaining to someone yesterday how I'll quite often explain these what I call the stuff ups I make when I'm trading, because it's good for you to see it, and it's nearly always because I'm multitasking or not 100% focused. It costs me money. So even though, yes, I know you see me come out way in front, however, I have, at least one losing trade a day where it shouldn't have been a loss because I was mucking around with other things. I'm busy. But for you, particularly when you're trade, it can really upset your confidence, etc. So be very focused. Likewise with your discipline, follow the rules. What if you were working for a prop trading firm or a bank? Do you think they would tolerate you taking impulse trades? They'd march you out the door. I want you to imagine you're working for a prop firm or you're working for one of the big banks. Okay, you've got to be focused, you've got to apply the discipline, and of course you need to be patient. There'll be times when you'll have a market, it's all the MAs are all horizontal. We're in a sideways market. These are times you've got to be really patient and you've got to sit back and wait for a new breakout, and of course I teach you how to do that. And by the way, when you see the market going sideways, have you checked for red flag announcements? Now remember to go to FOREX Factory every day, and what major red flag news announcements? That's forexfactory.com. I want you to go there and check under news, because if you see over a period of time the market is sideways, quite often there's a major announcement around the corner, a red flag. But if that's not the case, remember you've probably got a breakout on the way. So just be very, very cautious of that. Anyway, this has now gone a little over what I wanted to cover, but traders, you can do this, but I want you to pace yourself. Treat it, as I mentioned earlier, the most important project you've ever had, and I'll see you on the right side of a ledger. So check for Google Drive. At least I post things there at least 2 to 3 times a week, so that's how you're kept up to date. So you won't normally get an email with an update. It'll be posted on the Google Drive. Now when the new website is launched, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'll be emailing you all with your unique password, etc. Thank you, traders.